To learn some real life English with comprehensible input? Well, good, because I am inside of my TV. Why am I inside my TV? Because today we are going to talk about something that can be very valuable when you are trying to learn real life English, how we really speak it, and something that is huge in American culture: American TV shows. Let's go. Hey guys, it is your English-speaking friend, Kyle. And today we are going to continue improving our English with comprehensible input. What is comprehensible input? Comprehensible input is when a native speaker, like me, speaks slowly and clearly so that you can understand. And like I said in the introduction, today we're going to talk about something that is huge in American culture and something that is super useful when you are learning English: American TV shows. Guys, TV shows are huge here in the US, all around the world really, but everybody here has a favorite TV show, and that's actually a really good topic of conversation when you meet somebody. What kind of shows do you like? And you probably will find out that they like one of the shows that you like too, and then you can start talking about that. So it's a wonderful topic to make a video about, and it was recommended to me by a subscriber in Turkey. This subscriber's name is Kubilay. Kubilay, please forgive me if I didn't say your name perfectly. I know that's a popular name in Turkey, but I've never met anybody with that name in real life, so I've never had to say it before. But I think it's pronounced Kubilay. Tell me if I said it wrong, please. So anyway, he wrote me and told me that in Turkey, everybody has seen all of the popular American shows, and it would be a cool topic to talk about on the channel, and I agree with him. So that's what we're going to talk about today, guys. I'm going to tell you guys about some of the most popular TV shows in American history, really. I'm going to tell you about the ones that I do not like. I'm going to tell you about the ones that I really like. And first, I have to warn you guys, and this is a really good little piece of English vocabulary. There may be some spoilers in this video. What are spoilers? What does the word spoilers mean? So spoilers are when you tell somebody something about a show, but they don't know that yet. So maybe the new episode of the show came out last night. I saw it. My best friend, who also likes the show, did not see it yet. So if I say, hey, did you watch the show last night and Robert died? He's going to say, no, that's a spoiler. I didn't watch it yet. Why did you tell me that? Why did you give me a spoiler? No spoilers. So guys, these are not new shows. These shows have been out for a long time. And as I describe them to you, there may be some spoilers, okay? But even with everything I tell you about these shows, they are so worth watching if you want to find a good show to practice your English with. So let's get into it. But do you guys know what the weird thing about TV shows is? Sometimes we don't even watch them on our TV. Sometimes we watch them on our phones. A lot of times I'll just be sitting on the couch, my TV's right over there, and I'll still watch something on my phone instead. It's really convenient because you could watch something on your phone while you're eating, or maybe while you're on your break at work. So a lot of times we watch these shows on our phones. Alright, now to start this video off, I'm going to talk about two shows that I do not like, but they are super popular. And I'll tell you a little bit about them and why I don't like them. Number one is one that is super popular right now, and one of the new seasons just came out on Netflix. It's called Stranger Things. Now guys, Stranger Things is about a small town in my state of Indiana, which is pretty cool, and I believe it's supposed to take place in the 1980s, something like that, about 40, 50 years ago. And to be honest guys, the first season was really good. It's a group of friends, these kids, they live in this town, and in this town there's like some bad government scientists, okay? They're doing all kinds of bad experiments. They're trying to create kids who can have telepathic powers, which means they can move things and control things with their minds. They're doing all kinds of government experiments that, who knows, governments probably do, but we would not want them to do. So they're experimenting on kids, and they're trying to open up portals, like doors, to other dimensions. So in the show, they open up a portal to another dimension. One of the kids goes through the portal and he gets caught in this world, which is a super scary place. And then one of the other kids that the scientists were experimenting on, who has powers with her mind, she escapes somehow and she meets the group of friends, okay? So basically what it comes down to is this group of kids is trying to protect and hide the girl who escaped, but at the same time, they're trying to get their friend back, all right? That's the basic thing, at least from the beginning of the show. That's the very basic thing, basic summary. And now I say it was good in the first season, guys, because they were young kids and it made people like me think about when we were kids a long time ago, before there was cell phones, before there was so much technology. And it was something called nostalgic. Nostalgic is when you think about a good memory in the past and you like it. It feels good. So, that's the good stuff about the show. The bad thing about the show is that now in the later seasons, guys, they show way too much gore. And gore is like blood and killing, and it feels demonic, guys. To me, it feels like really like evil, that show. I feel like they're trying to put evil things into our brains, and I don't like that. I don't like to consume bad things. I like to consume positive things. I try my best to anyway. Sometimes I watch things I shouldn't, maybe. Some shows that have bad things, but I do not like all that blood, all of that demonic stuff. So that's what I don't like about Stranger Things now. And the second show that is super popular, it went on for years and years and years. There's so many seasons of this show. Everybody talks about it. Well, they used to, especially. A lot of people still like it. But I do not like, is called The Walking Dead. And this is about zombies. Guys, on a scale from 1 to 10, how was my zombie impression? It's pretty good. I give myself about a 4, I think. Anyway, this show is about a sheriff, okay? And a sheriff is basically the top police officer in a town, okay? And the sheriff in this town, he's a good guy. He has a wife and a son. He gets into an accident, I think, a car accident, or he gets shot or something, but he goes into a coma. And what a coma is, guys, there's gonna be a lot of good vocabulary in this video. What a coma is when something happens to you, a medical emergency, you go through a lot of trauma, like a car crash or something, and you fall asleep and you do not wake up for a long time. So he goes into a coma, he's at the hospital, and I don't remember how long it was, maybe it was a couple of months. He wakes up and he realizes that he's been sleeping for a long time. The next thing he realizes is that there's nobody there. The hospital's empty and he's all alone. Now, the reason he's all alone is because basically an end of the world event happened while he was in the coma. There was a zombie apocalypse, okay? And I didn't watch all the show. I only watched the first season or 2. So I don't remember why there was a zombie apocalypse. All I know is there was a zombie apocalypse, and he escapes the hospital, he leaves, and he realizes there's no normal people, but there's these monsters that used to be people that want to eat him. So he wakes up from a coma, realizes that the world is a very scary place now. He realizes that there was a zombie apocalypse, and he has to try and find his family. Eventually he does find his family, and then the rest of the show is just the people who survived trying to survive. Now, the same thing with Stranger Things, guys. It was good in the first season or 2 because it was new. It was a fresh idea. We never saw something like this. But after 10 seasons of the same thing, survivors trying to survive, survivors killing zombies, survivors fighting other survivors. It just got really old to me, guys. And once again, I don't like seeing all those monsters, those evil zombies. I don't think that's good to sit there for hours and watch that stuff into your brain. And there's so much blood, and it seems like every time they try and make it more scary, so they show more blood, they're showing people's insides and showing people get eaten, showing people get killed in crazy ways. So once again, I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't like The Walking Dead, but I will admit that the story from the first season was really good and it was well written. So those are the two that I do not like. The two very popular shows that I will not spend any time watching. And I honestly don't recommend that you guys do, but I want you guys to have an idea, if you haven't already seen them, what they're about, if you hear other people talking about them, and so that you can make your own decision whether you want to watch those or not. Because guess what, guys? We're all different. Some people love scary movies, love that kind of stuff. Who am I to judge? It's just not for me. All right, now I'm going to tell you guys about some shows that I do like. All right, now these are not in any particular order, but I am going to save my favorite one, the one that I've watched the most, for last. Those of you guys who have been following me for a few years, you already know what it is. We'll talk about that in a few. The first one I want to talk about, which is one that Kubilai mentioned, Prison Break. Now this was a very cool idea for a show, guys. So let me explain what it's about. It's about two brothers, okay? And one of the brothers was always doing bad stuff. You know, he did drugs, he was doing crimes, he was in and out of jail. But this time, they say that he killed a politician or somebody important. So he gets the death sentence. The death sentence, guys, is something that happens to the worst criminals. It's only legal, I believe, in one state now in the US. I think it's only legal in Texas now, but it used to be legal all over the place, okay? So they say that this brother killed a very important person, so they're going to kill him as his prison sentence. He gets the death sentence. So they say, okay, you're going to prison, and in 1 month, we're going to kill you, all right? So the other brother comes to visit him and he says, why did you do this? Why did you do this? And he says, listen to me. Guys, this is just more or less. This isn't exactly what happened, okay? But he says, I did not do it. And for some reason, the brother believes him and decides, I need to save my brother. So the good brother never got in trouble, super smart. He's an architect. What he does is he goes and robs a bank or commits a crime so that he can go to the same prison that his brother is at. Why would he do that? So he can help him to escape or to break out. That's why it's called Prison Break, because prison break means to break out, to escape from prison. So guys, this is a super cool idea for a show. Very well written, at least the first season or two. It's super exciting, and there are some bad things in there, guys. Some pretty bad stuff, but there's also a lot of really good English, for one, because you learn all the slang, because guys, in prison, they're talking what we might call street English, right? These guys are not doctors, they're not teachers and lawyers. These guys are hardened criminals who grew up on the streets, so they speak that street slang. So in Prison Break, you will probably be exposed to some vocabulary that I would never use, okay? And that you have certainly never heard on any English class. So I do recommend this one, guys. Not if you're a kid. If you're very young, I really don't recommend any of these. And it's sad, but really, I don't know if there are any appropriate shows these days for young people. It seems like all these shows want to put bad stuff in them. I don't know if they're trying to poison people's brains or what, but I wish there was some more positive things out there. So if you're a kid, I think you should go watch Animal Planet or Discovery Channel, shows about science and the earth and cute animals, okay? Cool nature. You shouldn't be watching this junk. Not good for your brain. Next, which is also one of the shows that Kubilai mentioned. Once again, I really hope I'm saying that name right. Really hope I am. Supernatural. And what does that word even mean? Supernatural means something that's not normal, okay? Something that is above natural, okay? Natural is humans, natural is animals, natural is plants and things. Supernatural are spiritual things, angels, demons, ghosts, okay? Monsters. That's what supernatural means. And the show Supernatural is, again, about two brothers. And these brothers grew up with their father, who is basically a monster hunter. A monster hunter or a demon hunter. And that's what the show is about. They basically go around and try to help people who are having supernatural problems. Like, okay, over here in Pennsylvania, there's a ghost that's terrorizing these people. These brothers go there and try and save the people, try and figure out what's going on, and fight the bad guys. This show is really cool, guys. There's angels and demons and stuff. There's all kinds of monsters. The cool thing about this show, guys, is you get to learn folklore. And what folklore is like urban legends, all right? So they use real urban legends from different parts around the United States, real legends that people in those areas talk about, and it's kind of cool. I've always enjoyed listening to those kind of things. I don't believe that they're real, but it always is cool to me. Like, I really don't watch them anymore, but I used to like watching movies about aliens and stuff like that. It's just, I don't know, something about that excites my imagination. So cool things like that. Mainly they're trying to find a demon who killed their mother and stuff like that. But it's a good show, guys. And it's about two brothers sticking together, trying to protect each other, basically trying to save the world at one point. And this one is nowhere near as gory, which means blood and violence, as Walking Dead and Stranger Things. Now, of course, there's violence because they're fighting bad guys, but this one is appropriate for, like a teenager or something. They're not saying tons of bad words. There's not like nudity and bad things like that, okay? Just a good show. I quite liked it, and many other people did too. It's very popular among people who are into like comic books and anime and things like that, which I'm really not, but I did like this show. And there's like 15 or 16 seasons, so if you choose that this sounds like something you'd like to watch, there's tons of content on there for you. So my mom loves this show, guys. My mom really loves this show. I don't know if she just thinks that the guys on it are cute and she likes to look at them or what, but she really likes this show, guys. My mom has seen all these episodes. She knows everything about this show. So Kyle's mom recommends Supernatural, all right? It's a pretty cool show. Check it out if you're into things like that. The next show that we're going to talk about is so scary. Just kidding, guys. I just thought this light looked kind of cool, and I had to be dramatic. The next show we're going to talk about is not scary, but in my opinion, it's one of the best shows ever. And it's called Breaking Bad. Let's talk about what it's about. But I just want to say the acting in this show, incredible. Incredible acting, super good. It's like you're watching a movie, and there's like 8-9 seasons of the movie. The movie just keeps going and going and going. Incredible. I will say there's drugs and violence in this show, so not appropriate for everybody. Have to say that. But if you're an adult, make your own choices about if this show sounds appropriate for you. Let's talk about what it's about. So this show is about a school teacher, okay? He teaches chemistry, which is chemicals, and the chemicals that the world is made up out of. And he's brilliant. Brilliant is another word for super smart. Very brilliant man. His name is Walter. He's got a son and he has a wife. They're a happy family, a normal American family. okay? Walter does the right thing. He goes, he works at the school, he loves his wife, he's loyal to his wife, loves his son like crazy. His son is disabled, he's handicapped, and Walter takes great care of him. Close relationship. And then one day, Walter finds out that he has cancer, okay? So he's done the right thing his whole life, and then he finds out that he has cancer in his lungs, and if they don't do a treatment, which costs a lot of money, Walter is going to die. Now, Walter is very upset because he never smoked, never did drugs, always did the right thing, and he still gets this death sentence. And he gets told that he has to do this very expensive treatment or he's gonna die. And the problem is, he's a school teacher, and the insurance plan that they have is not very good. They're not gonna pay for it, and I believe the treatment is going to cost something like $200,000 or something absolutely crazy like that. So this very smart chemist, which is somebody who works with chemicals, starts thinking, how can I get this money? So he meets an old student of his who is not a good person. He's a drug dealer. A drug dealer is somebody who sells drugs. And guys, you know I never like talking about this stuff on this channel. Only mentioning these things so you know what these shows are about, so you know whether you want to watch them or not. But this guy is a bad guy, this student of his, this ex-student of his. He knows that he's a drug dealer, and he goes to him and says, hey, I'm very smart. You know the streets. Let's use my knowledge of chemistry to make the best drugs anybody ever had. And then you use the bad guys that you know and your knowledge of selling these bad things, and we'll make some money. Now, they make the best drug ever because Walter knows how to do all this chemistry stuff. And then the rest of the show is these two growing, okay? Going from nobodies to the biggest drug dealers, making tons of money, getting into all kinds of problems. And, you know, that doesn't sound interesting to me, all the drugs and violence. But what is interesting about this, guys? You get to see the transformation of this man going from a very good person who always follows the rules. You slowly, a little bit in each episode, watch him change into an evil, despicable person. And it's cool because you see the good guy go from such a good guy to bad, worse to terrible. But as that's happening, the bad guy, the ex-student of his that started out as a drug dealer, you see him changing too. But as Walter gets worse, Jesse, the other guy, he starts to become a better person. He starts to care about others and starts to try and do the right thing. And at the end, it's so weird because at first you like Walter and you hate Jesse, but the more you watch it, you start to not like Walt and you start to like Jesse. It's really weird, guys. But for that reason, it's such a deep show, and it's really one of the best shows ever made, I think. Super well written. Like I said, the way it's filmed is beautiful. It's like every episode is a movie. Absolutely incredible. And I've had tons and tons of the people who watch my channel say that they love Breaking Bad. A bunch of the people that I've done interviews with have said that they enjoy Breaking Bad. So if you're looking for a good show to learn a lot of English, check it out, guys. It is interesting. Guys, I just realized I should have done the Prison Break one here. I should have told you about the show Prison Break from this shot. Oh well, too late. Next show that I want to talk about, maybe it's appropriate to do here also, The Sopranos. And The Sopranos is about a mobster, guys. What's a mobster? A mobster is a member of the mafia. What's the mafia? Well, the mafia historically is crime families, Italian crime families here in the US. So the mafia was a big deal in the past, guys. But they say it doesn't really exist anymore. Who knows? Anyway, this show is pretty cool. It takes place in New Jersey, the state of New Jersey, and it's about a guy named Tony Soprano. And Tony Soprano is the leader of one of these crime families, one of these mafia families. And they call them a family, but it's really just a group. It's like a gang. And this show just follows Tony and his family. And he's doing all kinds of crimes and crazy stuff. But the twist, the thing that you don't expect in this show is that Tony is also doing something that a person in the mafia should never do. He's talking with a therapist, okay? So he's talking with a therapist because he keeps passing out, having panic attacks, and he's generally depressed. So it's cool. You see this guy, he's got all the money. Everybody's scared of him. They respect him. He has a bunch of women. He has a huge house, a bunch of cars, but he's still depressed. And nothing he does makes him feel better. So it's a show about a bad guy. It's a show about a bad guy, and there's no arguing that he's bad. He kills people, beats people up. He's an absolutely terrible person. But it's strange because he also has kind of a good side, and he's a very, very likable person. The actor's name is James Gandolfini. He played this role so good. But you actually kind of like Tony when you watch this show. You like Tony, and some of the other characters are super funny, super deep, super cool. I really like this show quite a bit. I recommend The Sopranos. There is violence in this. There's some nudity, which, I don't think should be in a show, but I guess some people like that, so that's why they put it in. So be warned, this is for adults only, but The Sopranos is a pretty good show. I do recommend that one. And you'll learn some New Jersey slang, and they do have an accent there, which could be interesting for you guys to check out. The Sopranos. All right, guys, and the last show that I'm going to talk about is the show that I have watched more than any other show in my whole life. I've seen every episode of this show several times. I used to put this show on every night and listen to it while I fall asleep. This is a show that made me feel so good, and I think it's the funniest show ever, The Office. And this is a really good show. It's appropriate for teenagers and older, I would say. There's no violence or anything like that, and very little bad words. It's a pretty good show. So this show is about an office, okay? Like we did the Office episode with Carl. So this show really feels like that video. And some of you guys said, why do I feel like I'm watching The Office right now? So this show follows the lives of all the people that work in an office of a paper company, okay? They sell paper. It's called Dunder Mifflin. They're paper salesmen. Basically, they call companies and say, hey, do you need to buy paper? It sounds so boring, right? And it is. But it's awesome because they follow these people's lives, their friendships. Some of them fall in love, some of them fight. And guys, the writing on the show is just incredible. The jokes are so funny. The actors are hilarious. This show made me laugh so many times, guys. So many times. I absolutely love this show. I haven't watched this show in a long time. But there was a time in my life where this show really brought me comfort. And I was going through a lot of hard stuff, difficult things. But putting this show on, I could just kind of relax and forget about all the stuff going on in my life, laugh a little bit, and just feel okay for a while. So I will always be grateful for this show, The Office. Like I said, it was like therapy for me when I was going through tough stuff. I could always put on The Office, relax, and forget about my problems. So my favorite show ever is The Office. If you watch this, it'll be full of real life vocabulary. And the best thing about this, guys, there's not action, there's not fighting, there's not scenes where they're driving cars, okay? There's not a bunch of music. It's talking, it's people, it's conversations, it's jokes, okay? So in shows like this where it's just a bunch of people talking, you get a lot more English than you would in a show where there's a bunch of fight scenes. Boom, 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 boom. Guys are driving crazy cars and chasing each other. There's loud music. Those can be good too, but there's way more talking in these ones. So, highly recommend The Office. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen it. Perhaps you've seen it in your native language. I really recommend watching it in English because a lot of times, guys, when they dub a show, and dubbing is short for doubling, which means that they put somebody speaking a different language on top of the film. So the guy's mouth will be moving like he's speaking English, pero realmente estoy hablando español. So it's called dubbed, okay? And when they dub these shows and change the language, sometimes the jokes aren't as good. Sometimes the jokes lose a little bit of their power when they're not in the original language. And that goes the same if you're watching a Spanish show in English or you're watching an English show in French. Everything's better in its original language. So if you haven't seen it yet, highly recommend you watch The Office in English. And there's two versions. There's a British version, which was the older one, and the new one, which is American. I've watched them both. I'm not a fan of the British one. The American one is awesome. Check it out, guys. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Tell me in the comments, what are your favorite TV shows? What is the show that you have watched so many times? I'm very curious to know. And thanks again to Kubilay in Turkey for giving me this idea. I appreciate you. Thank you for sending me those cool videos and that awesome picture of the jack-o'-lantern. Guys, Kubilay did a jack-o'-lantern, which is carving a pumpkin. He did it to a similar vegetable with his kids. So that was super cool. He sent it to me on Instagram. He saw that from the Halloween video and sent that to me along with a video of him and his son speaking English. Super cool. Thank you, my friend, for sharing that with me and for sharing this idea. And thank you to every single one of you watching this right now. I appreciate you guys more than you could possibly know, and I will see you